idea talking about at the Ryerson Library having like security, making you throw away your food. And so we had the idea of making a game like that, and we talked about, we could have, like the librarian chases you, and then Alex was really instrumental in saying, like, no, we don't want to, like, promote, like, stereotype of, like, librarian.
Yeah.
Initially, we were going to have a librarian chase a student while the student has to eat the food to pass the game, but I didn't agree with the librarian being an authority figure or a punisher, so we decided in the end to choose a genderless robot as the authority figure that will catch the student.
When deciding which game-making platform to use, we each went our own way to try and tinker with one of the programs. I did the Alice tutorial, Matt did Kudu, and Nikki went with GameStar Mechanic, and Quest wanted to play with Game Maker. So I didn't like Alice, and Matt didn't really like Kudu, so we were going to go with GameStar Mechanic, but Quest really wanted to use Game Maker because we can make our own sprites and we weren't very limited, and the group really agreed with that. So we did the tutorials for Game Maker, and then we got started.
We thought of using fruit and water as healthy food you're supposed to collect, to promote healthy eating for students, but also as a chance to do some fun kind of programming things with how the objects behave. So if you collect those things, you'll get points, but if you collect the candy or the chocolate, you'll get a big burst of speed, but for a little bit, and then you'll move really slowly afterwards. And same kind of way, if you eat the hamburgers, then you still move slowly for a while after. So, and they don't give you any points, so it's a lot like student life where those things don't really help you in the long run, but they're all over the place and they're kind of hard to avoid.
So we started off by keeping a project log where we detailed all the things that we were doing towards both this project and the playlist. We made note of who was making sprites, what we were using to make the sprites. We went day by day, group member by group member. We've got all the stuff that we've discussed at our meetings, our many meetings. Lots of to-do lists, some discussions going on here about what to do about certain things. Lots of going over and refining ideas. And this is in Google Docs, so we can all access it. Lunch meetings, those are fun. So we use this to basically every few days analyze where we were in the project, what needed to be done, where we were heading. We also had all our stuff stored in Dropbox, so this is all our game content here. Because it was hard for 6 people to edit a game at once, I made a little checkout system. So you can see when somebody has the file sort of checked out from Dropbox so that it's being edited on, and you know that you should wait until someone's checked in their changes before you can go ahead and make your own. So that definitely helped figuring out sort of who is editing when, and instead of sending out mass emails saying, hey, I'm going to work on it at 5 o'clock, don't touch it, all you had to do was check the file. Our game was also put in Dropbox too, so that we could work on it outside of school. And this here is our game. We chose Game Maker 8 for our design platform. These are our background sounds. These are all our wonderful sprites, and for all the sprites that have actions and events associated with them, we have events. So whenever your little student person encounters these objects, we take these actions. Whenever they eat a candy, they get faster. So then we go into this object, and There's an alarm set so that they're only going to be fast for so long because sugar wears off. And there's the accompanying background sound for when you're faster. Some key events, and this is pretty much what we were using. It's a lot like JavaScript with events and actions and handlers. This is our first level map with all our objects placed. I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to ruin it. It's pretty much our design process.
Okay, well, some of the challenges that I found in working with GameMaker is, first and foremost, there is somewhat of a learning curve. So dealing with a new piece of software, there's always going to be some degree of challenge in learning new things. GameMaker in particular tries to make things simple, so they do offer tutorials, but I did find that even doing those tutorials wasn't enough. I had to venture on to the internet and explore communities dedicated to GameMaker, and even forums, just to try to find tips and information to help me start the game design. As well, another major challenge for this project, and I would imagine for any project, is time constraint. Generally, we only had about 5 or so weeks to create this game. So we're working under very tight deadlines, and I find that sometimes when you're designing something new and working with new technology, time is really valuable. So not having as much time as we would have liked kind of took away from things, but I think sometimes you get the best diamonds when you have pressure.
There were resources that the game did offer, but now having this understanding for how the sprites worked, I was able to create sprites from scratch. And being able, or based on the fact that I created sprites from scratch, it actually helped us down the road, because we found that the sprites that I was creating using this program were not actually working at all in the system. They could not be uploaded. However, because I had now experienced enough of sprites through this app to give me the confidence to create sprites on my own, I understood how sprites worked even better. And the result was that when we hit this problem, I was able to figure out a way of working around the next problem, which was simply creating these sprites one frame at a time in the GameMaker system.
One of the bugs we had was, so in GameMaker's documentation, they said that you can only have one background sound happening at a time, so like music, and we wanted to swap out normal music with winning music or losing music, but it kept playing them at the same time, and that was a pain in the ass. So we had to go for every action and every object that could cause a win or loss, we had to go and stop all the possible background musics, normal, fast, slow, and then start the one that we wanted. And that was, so for every point generating object, which was all the fruit and water,